First, let's talk about your next essay assignment, Essay 3. This assignment will continue to look at conflict or theme, but we're going to shift from short stories to poetry. So we will look at some selections from the British Renaissance, Romantic, and Victorian periods, and within this module you'll see a page for each of those periods. I've posted some outside YouTube videos for you to look over with specific notes about parts that you can skip over, because some of them are a little bit long and we don't need everything that's in the video. But I do want you to have some context of what's going on politically and socially around the time period these poems were published. So each period I have listed a selection of poems, and you will choose one from each period. So those 3 poems will be your 3 body paragraphs. Now your thesis statement will not need to be as specific. I hate to say that because some of you will write such broad ones, but for a paper like this, when you're looking at hundreds of years of literature in between, you'll need to be a little bit broad to say something like, within these 3 poems, da 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 da, the reader can see transitions regarding society's view of love. So it's broad enough that you're not saying all British poetry says love is true love, or an arranged marriage, or this, that, or the other. You need to leave yourself some wiggle room in there, because you get in trouble when you start using words like all, always, never, none, because there are always exceptions. So leave yourself that room in your thesis statement that you can discuss differences as well, because there are differences. Let's see. So once you've gone over those pages, I also want you to look in the For Our Students book at chapter 29, it looks like. Specifically at page 319, there's a brass tacks section that goes over qualities of writing with poetry that may be different than what you're used to. One change in particular is that you will be citing line numbers rather than page numbers. However, you do not have to put Shakespeare line 7. You will just put Shakespeare 7. Because it's a poem, I'll understand what you're talking about. So that's one change. As I said, for the essay, you'll have 3 body paragraphs. Each body paragraph will correspond to a poem from the selections from each period. I've posted a discussion board for essay 3, and I've already done the first post, which was just posting a quote, because your assignment is to put the quote posted immediately before yours in your own words. So this isn't some lengthy response. This is just to get practice looking at a quote and saying, this is what this means. That's it. Beneath that, you need to put your tentative thesis statement and the poems that you are using, whether you incorporate it in the statement or not. I need to know what poems you're looking at using. And then you choose a quote, probably from one of the poems you'll choose, but it doesn't have to be, and just state the quote and cite it correctly with the author's last name and line numbers. And then the person that comes after you will put your quote in his or her own words, and then their thesis statement, and so on and so on. So that will help us get a little bit more comfortable with poetry and just saying, this is how Lord Byron said this, but this is what it means. So that's your discussion board assignment. Now, for the research component of this module, you will be doing a proposal, and that does not have to be a formal essay. In fact, I've posted headings, and I would like for you to use those headings in your paper and just put a statement to a paragraph for your answers. This is to help me and to help you flesh out your topic. So before I set you loose to just go write like crazy, I want to make sure that you're spending your time in the right way, that you are getting the right kind of sources, that they're not too googly, if that's a word, that they come from academic sources, that they're credible, that they're not all about one topic, one angle, and you need, different sides of your story, those kinds of things. So you'll have gotten feedback from me on your first research log, and the second research log is kind of our second checkpoint before we start moving into actually writing chunks of the paper. So look at the directions on that assignment. I have not set this module to be completed in sequential order, so you should be able to do anything within this module in whichever order you prefer. And then you will post your research thesis statement on the research discussion board. The two things to keep in mind for that is that it needs to be specific and it needs to be argumentative. And there's more about that on pages 93 and 94 in your textbook. Have some very good examples. But for the most part, I see this paper is longer, but it's still only 1,500 words, which is about 5 to 7 pages. So your thesis statement still needs to be fairly pointed. And between that, specificity, and the argumentative nature of the paper, those are the two things that I see most commonly needing revision. So a very safe way to word your thesis statement, at least for now, is to strictly say such and such should or should not do so and so. Because if you're saying they should or shouldn't, you are taking a position. And you can reword it later to be, more eloquent if you like, to be rock solid by the end of your revision process. But for now, the most important things for me to see is that it's specific and that it is argumentative. One final thing, I have gone ahead and posted your midterm link to this module. The midterm will close on April the 4th, and this is a proctored midterm, so you must sign up for a proctored time. If you are not a Hines student or if you're out of state, this is very, very important. You need to call the e-learning department and set up some other arrangement to take this proctored exam. This is the only exam for the course that will be multiple choice, and it will be covering plot summary versus analysis, which we have talked about a little bit before in your chapter readings. Some things from Comp 1, strong thesis statements, strong topic sentences, what should a body paragraph look like. There's a little bit about citation in there, but those don't count quite as many points as the other. What else did I have in there? Pretty much anything we've talked about to make a good essay. That's what's on there. So there are 21 multiple choice questions ranging from 2 to 5 points each. And hopefully it'll be very simple for you based on the quizzes, the readings, and my feedback from your essays. That's all for this module. So if you have some extra time this week, go ahead and do a little bit more research. Try to bulk up your source compilation, and I will see you in the next module. Please, please message me if you feel that you are getting behind at all, because with the nature of this course, if you get behind a little bit, it is going to pile up quickly. So I'm here for you. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and good luck this week.